Hi, Addy. Welcome to lesson number 76. This lesson is going to be really fun because we're going to learn how to compare fractions by converting to decimal form. So that makes it a lot easier when we are comparing fractions. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that we're going to do is your 5 minutes of facts practice test. So you have 30 fractions to reduce in this one. So I will give you 5 minutes to do that, okay? Get ready, get your pencil out, on your mark, get set, go. I'm going to put on some relaxing music. Good job, Addy. Keep going. You have about a minute left. I don't love this music. I'm going to see if there's something else. All right, I'm going to stop you right there, Addy. All right, so let's jump back into the lesson, okay? Okay, so you can put your facts practice away. And this lesson, again, we're going to be comparing fractions by converting them to decimals. Makes it a lot easier. You're going to be like, why didn't you teach me this sooner? Okay, first of all, do you know what kind of pet did Lehi have? He had a flea, because the Lord told Lehi to take his family and flee into the wilderness. Get it? Okay, I know that was pretty bad. All right, so we're going to start with mental math. If you don't know who this guy is, this is Richard Simmons, a pretty funny exercise guru. He's a little distracting though, but sometimes it's fun to count while people are exercising. So we're going to actually count up and down by twos between -12 and +12. So to do that, I'm going to sort of imagine this number line and use this number line to help me, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's count between -12 and +12. So we're going to do -12, -10, -8, -6, -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now back down. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, -2, -4, -6, -8, -10, -12. Were you able to do it? I bet you were. All right, let's do the rest of mental math. These are the ones you do in your head. Pretend there's that madman won't let you use a calculator. We're going to start with 4 times 208. Look at that cute baby dancing. She's pretty good. 4 times 208. Write your answer. Okay, now we're going to do 380 plus 155. 380 plus 155. Write your answer. Okay, let's do C. We are going to do 4 times $1.99. I might do 4 times $2 and get $8 and then realize, well, I multiplied too much, so I'm going to have to subtract 4 cents. Okay, what about D? $10 minus $4.99. That baby is like so happy and then gets scared. Ugh. What is $10 minus $4.99? You could do $10 minus $5 and be like, well, I subtracted too much, so I have to add a penny back. E, what is 1/5 of $4.50? 1/5 of $4.50. It's kind of like dividing this by 5, huh? How many times does 5 go into 45? Okay. What about F? 95 cents times 100. We're definitely going to be moving that decimal spot, huh? 95 cents times 100. It's almost $1, so you would almost have $100, but not quite, huh? G, what is 8 times 8? Start with, this is the number we're going to start with, 8 times 8. Now subtract 4, divide by 2, add 2, divide by 4, multiply by 3, add 1, and divide by 5. What number do you end up with? You can skip back if you need to do that again. For H, we are going to hold your hands. This is the Happy Hands Club. Hold your hands 1 foot apart and then 24 inches apart. Do you go from small to big or from big to small? What are you going to do there? All right, Houston, we have a problem. We are going to go into problem solving. All right, Selena. Selena used division by primes to find the prime factorization of a number. Copy her work and fill in the missing numbers. And this is what they give you. Woo! This is hard. Okay, so you're going to start with some big number here. And then when you divide by 2, you have half of that here, half that big number. And then you get a number here, and you're going to divide that by 3. And then you get a number here that you divide by 5. And then you... So just think, what's the inverse operation of division? Because this is a lot of division. Well, the inverse operation is multiplication. So what if we multiply instead and start on this end? 1 times 7 is going to go in this box. And then we'll do 7 times 5, and that'll probably go in this box. Right? And then we'll do this times this, and that'll go here. And then keep doing that all the way down, and you can see which number she started with, okay? All right, I'll let you fill in the rest of those missing numbers. You'll definitely have to pause it there, and we are going to jump right into this new concept. New. Yes, this is going to be awesome. The new concept is a way to compare fractions, and we've done that before with different ways. There are 3 ways to compare fractions, 3 easy ways. Way number 1 is using pictures. So this is an example of comparing fractions using pictures. That's a half, that's 2/4, 4/8. You can tell they're all the same because this shaded part is the same in all of those pictures. So that is one way to compare fractions. 1/2, 2/4, 4/8. It's just like, you know, how many segments did they divide that bar into? And that is just different fraction, but they're all equivalent right there. See? Okay, another way. The second way to compare fractions is to get a common denominator. So let's say you've got these different fractions and you want to compare them. Well, it's hard to compare them because this is 1/5 and this is 4/10 and this is 3/5. We can compare these, the 1/5 and the 3/5, because we know that 3/5 is bigger. But what about this one? Okay, so to compare these fractions, we would get common denominators. So we would change this one to 2/10, right? 2/10, this one stays the same, 4/10. And this one would be what out of 10? It would be 6/10, right? So they're actually in order. See, 2/10, 4/10, 6/10 is the biggest. Sweet. Hard to know that when they have different denominators, right? Because those don't look like they're in order, but they are. So cool. That's another way to compare fractions. Now we are going to find out the third way, the third awesome way to compare fractions, and that is to convert to a decimal. Why was the fraction skeptical about marrying the decimal? This is the fraction. He's going to marry this decimal because he would have to convert. Sometimes people have to convert religions when they get married. But in this case, it looks like he has to convert to a decimal. Okay, they're actually the same decimal right there, as we will see. All right, so how do you convert a fraction to a decimal? Well, easy peasy. Let's find out. Let's jump right into example 1. And it says compare these fractions. These are the fractions they want you to compare. 3/5 and 5/8. Now, we could find a common denominator and compare that way. We could draw pictures and compare that way. Yes, we could. But this time, we're going to learn how to compare by converting each fraction to a decimal. So, what you can do is you can realize that a fraction is basically just the same as a division problem. So, for example, 3/5 is actually the same as 3 divided by 5. You have to make sure to put the correct one in the middle, because this doesn't seem like it would divide, because 5 doesn't actually go into 3. But that's why we have to add some zeros and a decimal, okay? You actually only have to add 1 0 here, as we will see. But let's just do this division problem. You could put it in a calculator. Yes, you could. Could you? Yes, you could. But let's do it the old-fashioned way. How many times does 5 go into 3? Well, it goes in 0 times, so we're not going to put anything there. But then we bring the decimal up. Put the decimal there. And then we ask ourselves, how many times does 5 go into 30? Now, 5 does go into 30 if you remember your multiplication tables, because 5 times 6 is 30. Then when we subtract, we get remainder 0. So 5 goes into 3 0.6 times. So what's cool about that is that this fraction, now we know that this fraction is the same as 0.6. Cool. All right, I'm going to erase this so that we can do the other side. Let's do the other side. 5 divided by 8. Now, make sure that you get it correct in the correct order, because this is the only thing that can mess you up on these problems. It's 5 divided by 8. So 5 goes here. It's the thing that's being divided. Let's add some zeros. We're going to have to add a lot here. You never know exactly when you start out, but you'll figure it out as you go. So 5, how many times does 8 go into 5? Or 5 divided by 8? So let's figure it out. 8 doesn't go into 5, so that's just going to be a 0. Does 8 go into 50? Yes, it does. How many times does 8 go into 50? I'm going to put this, I'm just going to bring that decimal up. Okay, how many times does 8 go into 50? Well, let's think about our times tables. 6 times 8 is 48, so that's pretty close. So 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract, we end up with 2. Then we bring it on down. Bring on down the next contestant, which is a 0. How many times does 8 go into 20? Well, 8 times 3 is 24. That's too much. So 8 times 2, 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, now we subtract. We get 4. Bring down the next contestant. It's another 0. How many times does 8 go into 40? Ha, I know my times tables. 8 times 5 is 40, and then I get no remainder. So the answer is going to be this, 0.625. So this is going to be equal to 0.625. Now let me pan out. Pan out. Now we're comparing. Now we can easily compare this, which is 0.6, and this, which is 0.625. This has the extra numbers at the end, so I know this side is bigger. Cool, huh? That's kind of a nice way to compare fractions. You don't always have to do the math like that. So what you're really comparing, let me show you what you're really comparing. You're comparing 0.6 compared to 0.625. And then it's super easy. Easy peasy. It's just that. Right? Cool. That's kind of fun, huh? That's it. And since we know that 0.6 is less than 0.625, then we also know that 3/5 is less than 5/8. That's it. Cool. Let's do one more example. This little girl, look, I don't need to be good at math. I have beautiful hair. Well, Addy, you do have beautiful hair, but guess what? It's going to be a bonus that you have beautiful hair because you are also going to be good at math. It's good to be beautiful, but you got to have something else too. So we're going to be good at math. Let's compare these two. And look, this is interesting because they gave us a fraction right here, 3/4, and a decimal. I kind of like that they did that because now we only have to change one into a decimal, and then we're comparing two decimals. It's kind of like comparing apples and apples. You don't want to compare an apple with an orange. That's silly. Change them both to apples, and then you can compare. So the first thing is we have to write this fraction as a decimal. So 3/4 is the same as 3 divided by 4. So let's do this problem. 4 doesn't go into 3, so I know I'm going to have to add a couple zeros. Okay, does 4 go into 30? Yes, it does. How many times? Let's see, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 times 7 is 28. Ooh, that's pretty close. Let's do that. Let's bring that decimal up, put it here, 0.7. Okay, 7 times 4 is 28. Now we're going to subtract. We're going to get 2. We're going to bring down that next 0. How many times does 4 go into 20? Easy peasy. That's 5, right? So 5 times 4 is 20. There's no remainder, so I am done. Done. Okay, so now I know that what I'm really comparing is 3/4, which is the same as 0.75 and 0.7. So I'm looking at 0.75 and 0.7. Which one's bigger? Well, the 0.75, it's got a 5 at the end. It's bigger. So this one's bigger. So that means that 3/4 is bigger than 0.7. Sweet. And guess what, Addy? We are done. That's it. The only math you need is you plus me forever. I think that's funny that he's trying to be romantic and that is not even good math. Alrighty. Well, at least you can compare fractions by converting to decimals now, huh? All right. Good luck with the rest of your math homework. Have fun with it. See you later. Bye.